This is my intro. There are many others like it, but this one is mine.
Hi, sports fans. It's Dan. How are you doing? Please let me know in the comments. Let me know how your day is going. So today I want to do something that's a little bit personal, a little bit academic. I wanted to talk about the successes of capitalism or the lack thereof. Part of the reason that I am a communist is because I do live in a capitalist society. No matter what people tell you, Canada is a capitalist society. There's no point in pretending otherwise. So capitalism has had some successes, but also some tremendous failures. And I do want to bring a few of those to light. It's not an exhaustive list, but I think it's some pretty important stuff to think about. So capitalism is really great at making the line go up. I think during the pandemic, some $2 trillion was pumped into the US stock market to keep the line going up. So capitalism can make the line go up, but it's not as good at meeting people's needs. Let's take for example here in Canada, food bank use started in the 1980s. It was meant to be something temporary. And then over 40 years later, food bank dependence has increased. Right now it's up 75% from 2019, and food prices are showing no sign of going down. Inflation is not going down. And it's virtually impossible to think even of the government doing anything about it. Because the Liberal Party and the Conservative Party are both capitalist parties. The Liberal Party has a little bit of rainbow capitalism sprinkled in there, but they are for businesses, not for people. And the thing is that Canada is not under embargo. There's no natural disaster going on that is destroying our crops. It's just that you don't really make money by feeding people. You make money by raising up the prices. This is, business 101. And it's a terrible thing when your business is selling food because you don't want to sell cheap food. You want to make the line go up. So that's just one very brief thing. I also want to talk about a popular example, Eastern Europe, post-Soviet Union. So with the fall of communism in Eastern Europe, that part of the world lost anywhere from 2 to 3, and in the case of Russia, sometimes 5 years of life expectancy. It's the biggest drop of life expectancy that didn't take place in a war zone or major natural disaster. And many of the post-Soviet republics have never actually gotten back to the population levels they had during the communist era. Ukraine, prior to the invasion by Putin, was actually poorer by half than Brazil in terms of GDP. So there's your success of capitalism. Turning, let's say, Ukraine, which is a place known for industry and computer science, to a place of raw material extraction and human trafficking. And then, while we're on the topic, let's also talk a little about the AOL Seed, because this was an example when I was a kid of the failures of communism. We were told that the Soviets diverted water from the Aral Sea into Uzbekistan to grow cotton. And that is true, and it was causing increased salination of the sea, as well as the draining of it. But the thing is, if you've seen that famous image, it actually accelerates when capitalism takes full root in Russia and the post-Soviet republics. It actually gets worse. The capitalists did not reverse the draining of the Aral Sea, they accelerated it. It's almost half gone by about 1999, when the USSR had been gone for approximately 5 or 6 years. And then something a little bit more personal, I wanted to talk about the gaming industry, because I'm a gamer and we are the most oppressed people on the planet who have ever lived in human history ever. Right now, say circa 2022, the gaming industry is worth approximately $357 billion. They make more money than the movie industry. They're bigger than Marvel. But in 2023, 2024, there have been just gigantic mass layoffs, as upward of 10,000 people. I think the rough numbers are globally, game developers are 5 to 4% unemployed, and it's roughly twice as much as that in the USA, at a time when this industry is making money hand over fist. And this also is a time when game development is becoming increasingly capital intensive. You can't just bang out a small little game anymore. Everything has to be Call of Duty. Everything has to be Halo. It all has to be big. Everything has to be a bestseller. It's not enough to do well. It's not enough for a game to sell well. A game has to completely destroy the industry, and that's just impossible. I want to bring the gaming industry up a little bit because it's seen as a luxury good thing, or even toys. but it's people's livelihoods. And the people who are getting hurt, the people that are getting injured, are not the Bobby Koticks and the Regé Fils-Amis. They're the people people suffering stress fatigue and the stress casualties of the gaming industry. And it sounds silly, I know, but gaming really is just a microcosm of how capitalism operates. You have more money than you've ever had. You have more resources than you've ever had. You've had more mass appeal than you've ever had, but that's not enough. That just creates an expectation that next year there will be more. If you have Call of Duty, then the expectation is that next year it'll be Call of Duty times 2, forever, into eternity. And the thing is that layoffs in gaming are actually caused by record profits, because once you make those profits, the investors want to know that you'll get more money next year. There can never be a downturn, otherwise they get spooked and they pull their money. So the workers, who are seen as an unwanted expenditure, are cut loose. So tens of thousands of people are suddenly not sure whether they're going to pay their rent or feed their kids, and it's all because of corporate greed. So these cuts never come at the expense of CEOs. Anyways, I'm sorry if I've jumped from topic to topic, but just for a short video, if you think about it, I'm speaking to a Western-centric audience. Nobody I know living in Canada or the United States has seen an increase in living standards for over 50 years. It's always been in decline, sometimes slower, but always declining. And that's because our societies are run as explicitly capitalist societies with explicitly capitalist parties. Don't give me this nonsense that Canada is full of commie pinkos, because we've never actually had a communist member of parliament, not since the 1960s when the RCMP tried to assassinate him. So I do want you to think about the successes of capitalism. It makes the line go up. It's more productive than feudalism, which is damning it with faint praise. That's a bar that's so low it's buried at the center of the earth. But ultimately, this is why I'm a communist. I want to get out of this system. I don't want people to get laid off because Call of Duty 33 1/3 underperformed for the shareholders. Being a communist means that we think that Bobby Kotick should be fired instead of all those developers. You could probably pay hundreds, if even thousands, of developers for the cost of one Bobby Kotick. So if you want to explain communism to your friends, means you are anti-Bobby Kotick, anti-Regé Fils-Amis. So thank you for joining me today. I want you to have a great day, and I will see you around. Remember to like and subscribe, and have a great day.
This is my outro. There are many others like it, but this one is mine.